Good morning, everyone. Today's Friday Facts for the DIY Musician. Today, we're going to do a review of our Zoom meeting that we had last week. We met with 2 music supervisors, and they gave us some great advice for all musicians who were going to start pitching their stuff to TV and movies. I liked all the inside things they told us, the other things that we really knew from the past, but really solidified all that kind of stuff. Today, I did a review of the most highlighted things today. And so that's why I am on Zoom again today. And we are going to do a PowerPoint with you. All the things we learned from Marcus Barone and Clinton Stapleton. Marcus is in film and Clinton is in TV. The TV moves really much faster than movies, but they did agree on a lot of different things: how music should be submitted to them, the quality of the music, the patience that the musicians actually need for them to look at all the material that comes through, those kind of things, and just to justify where you are in their catalog, so anything else coming up in the future. So when you place your music, you are licensing your music, you're not selling your music. They said they really needed to say a couple times a week to musicians that they thought maybe they were selling their song. You're never selling the song to them. Music supervisors use non-exclusive contracts. And once they use your pieces, they pay for it, you get the royalties for it. And then later on down the line, if you want to use it for another project, you can actually do that. So sometimes there's a misconception of that for especially new musicians who want to start placing their songs into TV and movies. They said it a couple times during our presentation, so I thought that was very important for you to think about. There's a difference between being with a publishing company who actually takes some of your songs on, or they contract you as an artist. That's a different thing than them just coming in from a show or a movie and wanting to use your music for specific areas of the movie. So that's what we're talking about here. I just summarized a couple things that Clinton said to us. TV moves fast and they need to accept fast, which means sometimes within a day, he needs permission and this contract signed. So it's really important that you own the masters and you have permission to say yes to a contract that you would do with him. TV placements are continuous, does not stop for him. Even though like there's different series that come in and out, they are constantly working on something coming up in the future. And so it's going to be important to that. TV and of course movies need high res music. He says, expect your music to get squashed. So because they are usually putting it behind the actors that are either acting or they are speaking. And so don't be surprised if you really have to listen for those songs, unless it's for a specific scene when nothing's happening and your music is going on. Know the show you're submitting for, get detailed. He said he gets lots of submissions for people he knows they had never even looked at the show. So you need to really watch it, a bunch of different versions of it, especially if it's a series. Watch a bunch of them, see where your music fits. Does it fit when a character comes in? That's kind of stuff. The idea is we need to do your homework, and you have to do homework for them to make their job easier, because they are constantly listening to music. And so you need to try to make it easy for them to work with us. Spotify links are good for a fast listen, but he also needs to actually have something that he can download the song. So again, with Spotify, he can't do that, but he can do a quick listen if he likes it. If you could also put another link in there that he could actually, whether it's SoundCloud or it's a Dropbox or something like that, he's going to need something to make that happen. He says, I'm always looking for modern music. He said, the deal is there's a lot of times when, especially these new things on Bravo that are like current and what's happening today, that they felt like that the music isn't modern enough. So if you are being experimental and new, then TV is for you, because they really want to do very current kind of stuff. Marcus Barone, he's in film. He said this is the first year that he actually started doing a documentary, but he usually works with bigger film and they are at a slower pace. You have to be patient because it takes the director a while, or whoever's in charge of putting the music together, to say, yes, I like this. No, I don't. Send me something else. Sometimes they're not detailed enough. They're going, I want something that's R&B sounding. And then you send them a bunch of stuff and they go, that's not what I'm looking for. So they need to be more detailed to him, but sometimes it's a back and forth, basically, what you're talking about. The music quality has to be perfect for TV and for film, but especially for TV. That means it's got to be what they call broadcast quality, which means it's got to be mixed and mastered. It's got to sound great. And so if you don't have a studio, then you need to work with somebody who does have a studio to make sure that you can do that. A simple Logic or Pro Tools is probably not going to do it unless you have somebody who is a mix and mastering expert that can make sure it sounds really great. You'll need to provide the stems of all your masters. That means sometimes they want the vocal separated from the music, so they will be really detailed with those kind of things. But basically, when you give them the masters, they will also want the stems. So make sure that your production is ready for that. You need to do your homework. He was very, very specific about this. Study the shows and film to pick just the right music to submit for your music to the music supervisor. I love that he said, really get real with yourself. All your music is not going to fit into one area. So really put it into categories by shows, by subject, something like that, because you really want to pitch exactly what they're looking for. I know Clinton actually mentioned that sometimes he actually will try to license the whole album because he needs a lot of different things in the album. So it's important that what you submit to them is going to be important. So they were the couple of things that I thought that they really came across and really were specific about those kind of things. How to submit your music to those people. Again, do your research, make sure it's for the specific kind of thing. Again, when you submit to them, it's usually by email. We'll go over how your supervisor's coming up, but the deal is make sure you do your research. Categorize your songs is going to be very helpful for them. Use only your best productions. If it's not sounding good to you, it's not going to sound good to them. So make sure it's the best production quality you can get. Know the business. It's going to be very important for you to know a lot of the terminologies. So we're not here to tell you you need to go to school for that. Sometimes you can just go to a panel, or you can read a book, or you can do individual courses, or just connect with somebody who's also doing it so they can talk to you about the things you need to make things happen. In the last Facebook Live that we did, we went over a list of things, which includes copywriting your songs, making sure you're connected with the PRO, making sure that you own the masters, and you can also accept if you have more than one songwriter. So those are going to be very important. Submit downloadable links. They said it's very important. SoundCloud, Dropbox, and try something called Disco. Brand new to me. I've never heard of that, but it's actually a platform that looks like that it holds music on it. So I just looked at it really quickly, and they're going to send me a demo. So go in, ask them to send you a demo, see if it's something you want to do. I think it's a paid service, but a lot of the music supervisors, both Clinton and Marcus in film and TV, are using Disco to actually get submissions and things like that. So you want to look at that stuff. Do a little homework. That I've never heard of that before. And so they both mentioned it. So you need to know what's going on with that stuff. The metadata is very important. If you don't have all the details there and they like what's going on, then they don't know how to contact you. Who owns the masters, the title, the songwriter, who is a publisher? Are you doing it yourself, or do you have stuff published? The time and length of the song is going to be important. The cues, which mean is it fast? Is it up tempo? Is it slow? Is the music, what's the music genre? And even what does it sound like? What would be good for? Would be good for, does it sound, it's more upbeat Bruno Mars song, or is it more something, it has great vocals like a song with Adele, those kind of things. And so all those things are going to help them to make sure that you set it up for them, because they'll look at the metadata before they even listen. So you want to set out all that information. If you do not know how to do metadata, go to YouTube. There's some great videos that'll tell you whatever you're working on, whether it's a PC or Mac, how to do your metadata. So I think everybody should know that. So take a look at that online. How do you find music supervisors? Basically, there's a couple different ways, and they gave us some ways, and I also had ways. So I might just put them all together, basically. Google, you can just Google it. Music supervisors for whatever show, whether it's The Blacklist, or it's This Is Us, or America's Got Talent, or whatever it is. And then usually it'll give you a name, or it will give you a company name, and most likely you can connect them through LinkedIn, which means that you need to have a LinkedIn profile. So check it out. They were both big on imdb.com. You look for shows that are in production and in development. and that will give you an idea of what's going on currently. And so again, all this takes a little research, but it's totally worth it. Connecting up with somebody who likes your work and they want to come back to you over and over again, it will be really, really important. Music Registry, it's a list of film and TV, music guide, and music publisher list and magazine that's there. It does cost money, but if you are in this field, you want to know what's current with those kind of things. Music Connection magazine, I always tell everybody about this because it's a free directory. It's, of course, it's limited because it's only a couple pages long, but it is current. So they have a free directory in September every year, and that means the one just came out. So go snag it. Go to the magazine, themusicconnection.com, and go to industry contracts, and you can look for the free directory of music supervisors right now, which means it was just updated. So you can take a look at that. You can go through and then we'll give you some ideas about how to get started. Then as special events start happening, ASCAP Expo, Songwriters Associations, they both mentioned Songwriters Associations because a lot of them are keyed into those things because they're looking for great songwriters. The CCC, which is the California Copyright Conference, is still online, and you can go for, I think, $5, and you can see what's going on in the publishing field. NARUP is also more of a list of publishers and stuff like that. Again, costs money to go, and there'll be more of these kind of things open in 2022. If you want to do TV and film, these are the things that you need to start thinking about. So you can get your credits early on, and it doesn't have to be with something big. So basically what we're talking about here is, how do I get my first placements? Again, they said this is the best time they've ever seen for music creators. So this is your time. Networks, Hulu, Netflix, HBO Max, BET, Lifetime, National Geographic. There are so many networks needing music for all of their programming. Sit down and think about it. Don't forget about student films, music for podcasts. I just had a student who came to me, and we did open counseling on Zoom, and they told us that somebody came to them and paid them $3,000 to use their song for the opening of a podcast. A great way to get some credits, great way for people to hear your music. Gaming, huge. Spectrum has their own cable channel. They got their own programs. Theater and Broadway, they also use music. The FYE network, Amazon has their own little shows that they put on, local advertisements, cable TV. There are a lot of possibilities for you. It does not have to be a Ron Howard film. You need to start smaller so you can get some credits. And actually, both Clinton and Marcus said to them, yes, it would be impressive if you've already showed that you have some credits. It means that you've worked with music directors in the past, and so they want to work with you. And so that's just a little summary of what we did and to talk about music supervision. It is a great way to make money. Money keeps coming. Every time it gets played, you get some royalties for it. So if you want to do this, this is the best time to start for something like that. Especially a lot of you are still home because of the pandemic. And so this may be something that you add to if you, whatever kind of career that you do once everything comes back to normal. So you want to start to think about if this is good for you. If it's not, that's okay, but this is a great way, and it's the way that a lot of musicians make money, either as a full career or as a part career.